Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and good Shabbos from, warm, kind of humid out here in Huntington, but you know what? It's nicer than it had been previously, so it's a pretty good night out there for pretty much the middle of June. Right? The first day of summer will be upon us very quickly. That was my grandmother's birthday. She was born in 1911, so that would make her old if she were still alive, but she is not. But 1911, she remembers vaguely the aftermath of World War I, growing up after that. So I don't think there's anybody around here who is of the World War I era anymore. No, unless they're well over 100. But it's the way of all things. Judy, you want to bench licht?
Sure.
We'll begin this evening welcoming Shabbat with, as usual, with the candles. The lighting of the candles, a rabbinic ordinance. Moses didn't light Shabbos candles, but the rabbis and their wives did.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Thank you. Let's turn to page 9 for responsive reading in English. Page 9. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. There are days when we act as if we care nothing for the rights of others. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. We can jump ahead to page 20. Page 20, a song that comes to us from the holy city of Tzfat, the mystical city of Tzfat. Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibor echad, yishmi'anu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'litila, lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela, likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor ha'bracha, merosh mikedem nehesucha, sof ma'aseh v'machshavat tchila, Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela, mikdash melech yimelucha, umiti mitoch hafecha, rav lach shevet b'yemecha b'cha, v'hu yachamol alai chemla, lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. Itnahari me'afar kumi, lifshi bigdei tifarte chambi, al yad ben ishai beit halachmi, korva el nafshi ge'ala, lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela, hitorari, ki va'orek kumihi ori, Ori, shir daveri, Kavod Adonai alayich nigla, lecha dodi likrat chala, B'nei Shabbat nikabela, lo tevoshi v'lo tikomi, mahatish tochachi matehemi, bach yechesu anieh ami, v'nihiv netayir al tila, lecha dodi likrat chala, B'nei Shabbat nikabela, v'hayu l'shivsa Shosaich, v'rahachaku kol mevalaich, yasis alaich Elohaich, ki himsos chahatan al kala, lecha dodi ligra kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela, yamin u'smol tifrotzi, v'et Adonai taharitzi, Yadish ben Partzi, B'ni Hismecha v'Nagila, Lecha Dodi Likra Kala, B'nei Shabbat Nekabila, Boi v'Shalom Ateret Mala, Gam B'Simcha U'Sola, Toch Emunei Am Segula, Boi chala, lecha dodi likra chala, b'nei Shabbat nekabila. On page 22, let's turn for some verses for the Psalm for Shabbat. This is from Psalm 92, and let's read the outdented paragraph together. A song for Shabbat. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night. With a 10-stringed harp, with voice and lyre together. You have gladdened me by your deeds, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai, how very subtle your designs. A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this. Tzadik katamar yifrach, ke'erez balmanot yiskeh, shetulim b'veit Adonai, b'chatzrot Eloheinu yahafrichu. Oh, Genubun b'seifa, Dishenim v'ra'ananim, Yihiyu lehagid, Ki ashar Adonai, Tzuri v'lo avlatavo. And we'll close out Kabbalat Shabbat on page 24 with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Well, we welcome the Shabbat. The Shabbat bride is with us. Please rise, page 146. Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Vaed. May be seated, page 147. Let's read together in English. Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish. But your sovereignty endures. Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you, and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai, Ama'ariv Aravim. Page 148. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Havta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta Al kein Adonai Eloheinu v'shochveinu ufkumeinu nasiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki heim chayinu v'yorech yameinu v'yorech yameinu uvahem nehege yomam v'layla yomam v'layla v'ahavat techal tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha B'chol lavavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha V'hayu advarim ha'eleh Asher anochi mitzavecha Hayom ha'levavecha V'shinantam levanecha V'dibarta bam V'shiftecha b'veitecha Uvlaktecha v'derech Uv'shokbecha uv'kumecha Ukshartam le'ot al yadecha V'hayu l'totafot bein einecha Uchtaftam al mezuzot beitecha U'visharecha Leman tizkeruhu v'asitem et kol mitzvotai V'tem kedoshim le'loechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim Liot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. Page 151, let's read responsibly. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all. Before our eyes, there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness.
There is the opening for right heart.
When will redemption come? Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High. Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha neder bakodesh, nohura tehilot, ohusefele, malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokeyam lifnei Moshe, zeli anu v'amru, Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. V'nehemar ki fad Adonai et Yaakov u'ga'alo chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Page 153, the first two lines at the top. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Page 153, let's read together in English. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'porei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol avo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. Page 154, some verses from the book of Exodus. It's not Shabbat if we don't have Vishamru. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נחש שבת ויהי נחש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Please rise for the Amidah, pages 155, 156, 157. We'll chant together, and then we'll go silently, 158 through the end. And during the silent part, you can read and finish the Amidah in Hebrew, read it in English, or offer up your own meditative prayer during that time. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibur v'Anora, El Elyon, Omer Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei HaKol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גואלים לבניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם, עזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה מתים אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכפר חיים בחסד, מחיה מתים ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות, ומדומה לך, מלך למיתון לחיה, ומצמיח ישועה. בנאמן אתה לחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני לחיי המתים. Let's turn to page 160 and let's read together in English. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may we all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat. Page 163, a little bit of gratitude, a little bit of thanksgiving. At the top of the page, let's read responsively. For the good in us which calls us to a better life, we give thanks.
For the strength of the world,
For the desire in us which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful.
for the light of eternity, for the hope of tomorrow, all praise to the source of being.
Page 164, we'll close out with Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon, lechol ha-shalom. Ki atahu melech adon, lechol ha-shalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. Praise are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivorech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom. Page 253, one of the many prayers for healing that we have. This one's known as Mishaberach. May the one who blessed is how it begins. If there's anyone who needs a little bit of extra healing, please keep them in your thoughts and close to your heart as we prepare for Mishaberach. Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Laimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of spirit body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. All right, prayers of our community, pages 258 to 59. Hoyt, how about the one for our congregation?
Source of all being, may the children of this community learn these passions from us. Love of Torah, devotion and prayer, and support of the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish us be blessed with satisfaction, and may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy.
Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. Maury, prayer for our country.
O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit.
Amen.
Amen. Shalom Yerushalayim, Yishlayu Hovayich. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. Avinu Shabashamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'go'alo, Barech et Medinat Yisrael, Reshit Tzmichat Gulatenu, Hagen Aleha b'yavrat chastecha, Ufros Aleha Sukat Shlomecha, Ushlach Orcha v'amitecha l'rasheha, Sareha b'yoetzeha, V'takneim be'etza tova milfanecha, V'natata shalom ba'aretz, V'simchat olam liyoshveha, V'namar, Amen. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love, Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there.
Amen.
Amen. All right, friends, Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
We are in the second parsha of Bamidbar, the new book of the Bible that we just started recently. It's Parshat Naso. And it's pretty famous as far as parshiot go. It's the longest parsha in the Torah at 176 verses. That's a long one. It's a long one. And it also has the longest chapter in the Torah. Chapter 7 of Bamidbar is 89 verses long. So if you're going to read the entire Torah portion on a Shabbat morning, Naso is the one. Bring lunch. Bring a lunch. It includes the census. Last week we started a census to find out how many men between the ages of 20, over the age of 20 there were. And this week we conclude it. We find out the Gershonites and the men who are aged 30 to 50, and they are the ones who are going to be carrying the sanctuary coverings, the hangings, the cords, the accessories, and the altar. Itamar, one of Aharon's sons, is going to supervise, and the count for the Gershonites is 2,630. The Merarites, again, another part of a tribe, ages 30 to 50, they're the ones who are going to carry the planks, the bars, the posts, the sockets, the pegs, and the cords. And they count at 3,200. The Kohathites, they're going to transport parts of the sanctuary. They number 2,750. And with the total number of Levites, these are three parts or three inner tribes of the Levites, 8,580. And they're going to be the schleppers. They're going to carry the sanctuary from place to place. Immediately, I mean, this is, when they say that God wrote the Torah, I would always say that God probably needed a better editor, because we go from this part about the Levites and who's going to carry what to the idea that anyone who has an oozing or open sore, or who may have come into contact with a corpse, they have to leave the camp. So that there's no transition. It goes from great work with the sanctuary to if you have a pussy sore, you're not allowed in the camp. But the parshiot kind of takes a while to get moving. If a person wrongs another, right, you have to confess and you have to do restitution, whether it's verbal wrongdoing or monetary wrongdoing. For example, if you steal property, you have to return the property with its worth plus 20%, right? That's your fine. They didn't have jail back then. You didn't go to jail if you stole. If you had to pay back what it was worth plus 20%. If you couldn't do that, you became an indentured servant. If the owner is dead, right? Even in the mind of the Torah, if the owner is dead, you still have to make the restitution, but then you have to take a ram sacrifice to the attending priest. So not only are you on the hook for what you owe the person from whom you stole, but now you have to take a sacrifice to the priest and get them involved. We have this really interesting ritual of the sota. The sota, a husband accuses his wife of adultery, and there's no witnesses, right? This should strike fear in the hearts of anyone who knows Middle Eastern history, or even in some modern Middle Eastern countries, that if the husband accuses the wife of adultery and there are no witnesses, usually what happens to the wife is she has a very short lifespan. Not so in our tradition, right? If there were witnesses, the Torah is clear, right? Punishment, and that's for any kind of wrongdoing. But if a husband is in a bad mood and he just accuses his wife of adultery, there's a ritual that she has to undergo, and it's called the waters of bitterness. They take some water, they take some soil, they take the ashes of the meal offering. The meal offering is the offering of flour and fine grains. And the woman has to drink this. And if she falls into a trance, she's presumed to be guilty. But if she doesn't fall into a trance, she's presumed innocent. Now, it says nothing about her if she throws up her guts, which chances are, I think about this and I want to toss, but that is not indicative of guilt or innocence. But if she goes into some sort of a trance, she's guilty. But if no trance, she's presumed innocent. Now, again, this sounds horrible, but what are the chances of her falling into a trance? It's like the woman sitting on the wine barrel that we discussed on Shavuot, right? This is a way of the Torah actually protecting women, right? It's an arcane ritual. It sounds really, really crazy. It sounds demeaning and debasing, but more than likely it saved the woman's life. Because if she drank the waters and didn't fall into a trance, she was innocent. And then we have the Nazirite, the Nazir vow. This is for somebody who's not a priest or a Levite, just a plain old Yisrael, and they want to do something above and beyond. They want to serve God that way, and so they take a vow not to cut their hair, not to have any kind of wine or product of the grape, and not to touch a corpse. And the rabbis will teach us that it has to be for a specific vow, right? Something that you want to do, and it has to last at least a month. And perhaps the most famous Nazirite in the Bible was Samson, Shimshon. And his power was in his hair. And because he was a Nazirite, he was forbidden to cut it. And when he told Delilah where his strength lay, she cut his hair, and he lost his strength. And the portion ends with the Kohanic blessing, right? It's a blessing. It's not a prayer. It's a blessing. And it's the threefold prayer that rabbis say all the time when we have no other prayer to say. And it's the idea of, it's one way that the Kohens would be able to ask for God's blessing. And it's a beautiful, beautiful 3 verses. The portion ends with them consecrating the sanctuary, and Moshe is where Moshe can encounter God. And we had 18 mitzvot in this week's parsha. You would think we would have more because it was so long, but just lots of numbers. We have 7 do's and 11 don'ts, and that brings up 18 mitzvot, and that is your Torah portion in a nutshell. I was hoping to have a speaker this week, but it kind of fell through at the last minute. So next week we'll have Pastor Tim, and then the following week we will have Lydia, and we'll have 2 onegs. We'll have an oneg next week and an oneg the following week for Pride. And I was thinking this week, we had Shavuot, and on the second day of Shavuot we recite Yizkor, and I get angry when I recite Yizkor. It's not my favorite service, and if I could get rid of it, I would, because we're a religion of life, not death. But when I'm faced with Yizkor, I remember all the people who have died, and I'm very angry that my father died so young. I get to be that. However, Yizkor also reminds me that it's okay to be angry when someone dies, but it's not good to have regrets. It's not good to have regrets. When my father died, I was very sudden. He died at 69. He got up in the middle of the night and literally dropped dead. Good on him. I mean, he didn't suffer. Tough on us because we weren't expecting it. And I've done a lot of funerals since my father's funeral for other people. And one of the things that I've noticed, now this goes back to even before my dad died, and this is especially true as we come up to Father's Day this weekend, there's a lot of regret. People are always saying, I wish I had said this, I wish I had done that, I wish I had. And my response is always, then why didn't you? All right, why didn't you? What was the reason, right? Because now it's too late, and now you're going to live with regret, and that's a heavy weight to bear. I had no regrets with my dad. It's funny. It's funny. I thought I would, but when I looked back on our relationship, I realized that he knew everything about me that he needed to know. Right? He knew everything about me. We had an amazing relationship. When I was a young boy, it was fabulous. He was my hero. Then I hit about age 11, and I didn't want to be in the same room with him until about age, well, I went to college at 17. So until about age 17, we kept our distance, because I thought, how could he live to be so old and be so dumb? And when I hit 17, I was amazed at how smart he got, because I was coming into my own. And then after 17, the relationship was very good for the rest of his life. And like I said, I had no regrets. The last words I said to him were, "I love you." The last words he said to me were, "I love you." And that was that. So no regrets. But there was a possibility for a regret. There was one regret that I may have had, but if it weren't for my partner Steve pushing me to do something, I might have had the regrets. When Steve and I, when I was moving from South Carolina to Florida, I asked Steve to come with me, and he said, "I will only come with you if you come out to your father." Now, I hadn't been out to my dad. They don't give you a handbook when you come out. I wish they did. Maybe I'll write one. But when you come out, you don't get a handbook. And coming out to people is fraught with difficulty because you never know how people are going to react. So I came out to my family in a process, right? I first came out to my brother because I knew if he had a problem with it, I could at least talk to him and work him through it. And I knew he wasn't going to tell anybody. Then I came out to my best friend, who already had 3 very, very close friends who were out. And he was just waiting for me to, fill the set for him. And other people back and forth. And I kept waiting and waiting and waiting and not wanting to come out to my dad. I don't know why. I don't know why my father was not homophobic. He had 2 teachers with whom he was very close, who were both openly gay in a time when it wasn't easy to be openly gay. One teacher was in the English department with him named Steve, and he went to New York to direct plays and was swallowed up by the AIDS epidemic. And then he had another friend, Rick, who was an art teacher, and Rick just died a few weeks ago. And he and my dad were close, and Rick's partner, Drew, they were together 50 years, I think, 52 years. So it wasn't that my father was homophobic. I was homophobic. I was afraid to come out to my dad because I thought that he would be disappointed. Right? Here I am, the oldest son. I should be getting married. I should be, having grandchildren. And here I am. At this time, when I was 40, I was living with Steve, and I still hadn't come out to my dad. So Steve said, "I'll go to Florida with you, but you have to come out to your dad." So he tells me this in September. October, November, no, December, January, February, no. March rolls around, and that's the month of my brother's birthday. And I used to take him to Allman Brothers concerts. So I was getting ready to go to Pennsylvania to take my brother to the Allman Brothers, and Steve whispers in my ear as I'm leaving, he says, "Why don't you have a talk with your dad? Because you're going to be leaving here in May, and if your dad doesn't know, you're going to be driving alone." So I thought, So when I was driving up to South Carolina, from South Carolina to Pennsylvania, I did a lot of thinking, and I reached no conclusion. So Dad and I went on one of our road trips. Yeah, we were famous for road trips. And we went to the Asian World of Martial Arts in Philadelphia. I was a member of a dojo, a karate school in Charleston, South Carolina, and I was tasked with going to this big warehouse full of martial arts equipment and bringing back some for the dojo. And of course, I'm driving, and we pull out and we leave, and we're heading down one of the main streets to get out of Philadelphia. on our way to get a Slurpee. Of all things, a Slurpee. You think I'm the only one who has a Slurpee addiction? My dad loves Slurpees. So we're getting out, and I hear Steve's voice in my head going tick-tock, tick-tock. So we drive down the road a little bit, and we hit a red light. And Dad's just kind of minding his own business. He's just doing his thing. And I look over at him at this red light, and I say, of course you know I'm gay. Well, the light turns green, right? So I press down on the gas, and we take off, coming up to the next red light. We get to the next red light, and I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking, what's he going to say? What's he going to do? Well, at least he didn't open the door, right? He didn't get out and slam the door and walk away. And I look over at him, and he's just looking at me, and he says, I always assumed. Well, the light turns green, and I floor it, and we go down to the next red light, because I keep hitting these red lights. And I look over at him, and I said, you always assumed. Why didn't you say something? Well, the light turns green, and I floor it, and we pull into the 7-Eleven. And now I'm thinking, I said, okay, at least he's made it to the 7-Eleven with me. Maybe he's going to jump out of the car. Maybe he's going, right? And he says, say something. And if he had pearls, he would have clutched them. He said, I'm too much of a gentleman to ask you that question. And I looked at him, and he smiled and laughed. And I got out and I laughed, and we went over. And he said, why did you come over? Why are you coming over here so quick? I said, so you don't run away. So why would I run away? I said, I just told you I'm gay. He says, I don't care. I've always assumed. Are you happy? I said, Dad, I'm gay. He says, no, don't be a smart aleck. He says, do you have somebody? I said, yes. He says, that's all I needed to know. And he hugged me in a way that it was just an amazing hug. And we went in, and he made me buy the Slurpee because apparently I put him through emotional turmoil in that ride. I said, what part of the ride? He said, the fact that you were speeding in between lights. On the way back, it was about a 2-hour drive. We talked more, and I said, you're basically the last one. Who knows? He says, yeah, I sort of figured that. I said, and it had nothing to do with you. I said, I thought you would be disappointed, and so it was my internal homophobia. My self-hatred manifested that everybody else would be fine with it, but one of the most important people in my life wouldn't be, and that I would somehow have let you down or disappointed you. And he said, there's basically nothing you can do that you haven't already done that could disappoint me. He says, and none of that worked, so why would you think this would disappoint me? And so that was a couple of years before he died. And the relationship, I can't say it got better because it was already very good. But there was an understanding there now that I understood my father on a much deeper level, that I had to trust him. And I always said I did, but for some reason, I didn't trust him with that. And again, that was on me. But I can only imagine how I would feel if I hadn't told him, where I would be. No regrets. No regrets. And it's not just for parents. I mean, if there's someone that you need to tell somebody, if there's somebody you need to tell something, do it. Don't keep putting it off. Don't say, I'll do it tomorrow. Don't say, I'll do it tomorrow, because in the case of my dad, the last night that we spoke, if I had anything to tell him, there was no tomorrow. But I had told him everything. Everything that he needed to know, he knew. And no regrets. No regrets. Just angry at God. Not angry at my dad, I'm just angry at God. But that's something that we're all entitled to be here again. So in honor of coming out, I thought I'd share that little story with you because my dad, a true mensch, myself, not so much. But he really surprised me. And even when he made me buy the Slurpee, and he got the biggest one. I had to buy the most expensive Slurpee for him. But it was so worth it. It was so worth it. And so in honor of Pride, a little story about my dad and in honor of Father's Day this weekend. So Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos.
Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos.
All right, page 280. Oh, no, Mari.
Kadoosh.
Kiddush. here I am ready to jump to page 282. You know, it's like when I was driving with my dad. You know, let's go. Page 282, Kiddush.
Sorry.
ויהיה ויבוקר יום השישי, ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ספרי
L'chaim.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, אותנו קידשת, מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך, באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Now, page 282, Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'ateit gdula liotzer b'reshit, shelo asanu k'voyei haratzot, v'lo hosamanu k'mishpachot hadama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומשה יקרו בשמיים ימהל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אלוהינו אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, כתבו בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבתה אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ להתחתנו. כך כתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו echad. You may be seated. This week we observed the following yard sites: Charlotte Angel, Lillian Steva Berger Frieden, Seymour's wife, mother of Nick, and his twin Joshua. Dr. Herman K. Poland, relative of Ronald Poland, Benjamin Siegel, Frida Kagan's uncle. Norman Stone, friend of Pauline Kaplan's cousin. Eric Stephen Hartz, son of Maury and Suzanne. Sarah Malmut, mother of Ben, Esther Netchen, and Saul and Seymour. Ella Schenker Ritter, David's first wife. Philip Weinberger, Richard's brother. Pesach Weisberg, Art's father. Donna Bihar Schneid, Tori Witcher's sister. Edna Kauf, Etta Steinberg's mother. Rebecca Eisenberg, Mary Cantor's sister. Edith Feder Gamorin, sister of the Fedders, Herman, Simon, Henry, and Noah. Dr. Herman Poland, Elsa May Hyman, Jack and Ed Hyman's mother. Dr. Charles G. Poland, husband of Mabel, father of Trish, Joan Weisberg's uncle. Isaac Newton Schoenfeld, Francis's husband, Jane and Tony's father. Evelyn Firestein, Steve's mother. Esther Mussman, Herman Glazer's aunt. May their souls be bound up in the bond of life eternal. May their memories be a blessing to us all, and may they all rest in peace. Mourner's Kaddish is found on page 294. Yit Gadol, Yit Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, Ba'amad Yivrach Yirtei, Yamik Malchutei, B'chayei Chon, B'yomei Chon, B'chayei Nechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agalav Yizman Kariv Yimru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Le'olam L'mei Maya. Yisparach, Yishtabach, Yifar, Yitramam, Yitnaseh. Yitadar, Yitalev, Yitalal, Shmei Kedusha, Richu. Le'elam Yinkol Birchata V'shirata. Tushbachata V'nechamata. Da'amiram Be'almav Yimru. Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya. Chaim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael Yimru. Amen. Oseh Shalom B'Ramav. Hu Ya'aseh Shalom. Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael Yimru. Amen. You may be seated. Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos. All right, Mr. Hoyt, Mr. President, got some announcements?
Maybe.
Maybe he's wearing his Mountain Dew T-shirt.
Challenge you.
It's a West Virginia thing.
I wore that at Kless Fest.
Yes, you did.
It was pretty cool.
It's a cool shirt.
All right. Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos,
Shabbat
everybody.
Shalom, good Shabbos, Hoyt.
Thank you, Rabbi. I really enjoyed your story. I have one question. Do you remember the flavors you got?
Yeah, we both got Coke.
Coke. Very good. I like that. Very good. All right. So tomorrow, we have got a service at 10 a.m. And I also think we have Drag Me to Brunch in the area if you're interested in that.
Yeah, drag me to brunch.
Part of Pride Month. And then Sunday, we've got services at 9. And then we're back here this week. Are we having sessions with you on Sunday?
Sessions with me on Sunday, yeah.
One and two. And
1 and
then,
2.
Are we having
Probably
Yiddish choir?
probably Yiddish choir as well.
Yiddish choir on Sunday and then
Wednesday.
Wednesday. I meant that. Yeah. Let me see the doctor. Okay, that's all I have. I don't think there's anything else. Really.
Yeah, I think
It's kind of quiet. It's summer. It's gonna have a good turnout tonight, so it's good to see everybody.
Yeah.
So we got here. We're a little late. I was busy harming Melanie. So
You're busy harming Melanie. Okay, well,
So,
I'll talk to her attorney.
it's all right. It's all right. Yeah, it's okay.
It's
It's
like a Hollywood story up here. It's like a Hollywood story.
It's completely ridiculous. That's why we can joke about it.
We are. We're about 5 months from the high holidays. They are rapidly approaching after Shavuot. It's all uphill. No, it's all downhill to the high holidays. So lots to get ready for. But let's close out, and then you can all go and enjoy this beautiful, beautiful evening. Page 321, Adon Olam. Adon Olam Asher Malach. B'terem kol yitzir nivra, li'eg nasa b'chepsa kol, azai mehelech shemo nikra, bi'acharei tiklot hakol, levahado iloch nora, vehu haya, vehu hoveh, vehu yeh b'tifara, vehu echad, v'yein sheni. L'ham shelo l'hachbira, v'li reshit, v'li tachlit, Velo ha'oz ve'hamisra, vehu eli v'chai go'ali, v'tzorchev li b'yetzara, vehu nisi umanos li, menat kohusi b'yom ekra, b'yahado ad ki ruchi, v'yeti shan b'yahira, v'im ruchi v'yati, Adonai li v'lo ira. Well, we have a number of people saying hello to us via the intertubes. And we have someone who, once again, offers a dissertation on why Jesus is God. Not in this room. There's Mom. Shabbat Shalom to all from Rabbi's mom and Cliff from rainy and windy Pennsylvania. Judy Lundy, Toda Rabbah, Rabbi. Thank you. May each of us enjoy a relaxing Shabbat. Thank you, Judy, to you too. Heather Watts, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Heather. Same to you. Donna Wilson, Shabbat Shalom. Beautiful story about your dad. Thank you. He was a beautiful kind of guy. And Judy Lundy, thanks for sharing. Well, you're very welcome. And that's it for that. All right, friends. Not so much going on right now, but there's always something going on. So please join us. Wish you all a Shabbat Shalom, a good Shabbos. Enjoy this beautiful evening. And please be careful out there.
Good job. Good job.